From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Well, happy Monday morning to you. We're getting ready for a work week. Boy, what a beautiful weekend, right? I mean, temperatures were well above normal. Got in the 70s for the valley. Great day, great weekend to get out and enjoy the beautiful outdoors. And as promised and as expected, we talked about cooler weather coming into the first part of the work week and even going through really this week. And that looks like that's going to be the case. Now, here's the thing, and I've been noticing this on social media over the weekend. The National Weather Service has really been pushing this, and then of course what happens is other people are sharing it, and it's kind of going viral across at least our local viral area here when we're talking about the potential for rain and snow in the forecast. And there is a lot of talk and whispering about the potential for snow in the valley. All right, let's put that in perspective. We're going to go and put that in perspective here in this forecast. So let's start with the weather headlines and kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Number one, as mentioned, it's going to be a cooler start to the work week. Now, we are going to be looking at some rain and some snow today, but this is not going to be a big event today. I think most of it will be on the coast and to the north, and not to mention to the east, but not much going on into the valley. Now, the main event will arrive Thursday and really kind of last through a good portion of the weekend. And then snow levels, as mentioned, are going to be dropping, especially by the time we do get into the weekend. So we look at our planner for today, and we do have some clouds out there in the valley. And there could be a stray shower, especially in the afternoon, but it's not going to be very heavy. Most of it, as I mentioned, will be in Siskiyou and Modoc County. Eastern mountains could see some slight activity as well. For the North Coast, I think you're going to be looking at better chances for some measurable rainfall today for the inland areas as well, but for Trinity County, your chances are slim. But again, for everyone, including the valley, don't be surprised if you run into a stray shower later this afternoon. So this is an area of low pressure. This is a nice little atmospheric river feeding into Southern California and down to our south. This isn't going to have a very big impact on our weather here. This right here is the colder air that is going to be kind of settling down and moving down to the south and east. And again, which is the reason why we are seeing those cooler temperatures for today. So we look at Futurecast, and we're going to take you into about the noon hour today. So you can see the bulk of the activity is to the north. So you got Modoc County, Siskiyou County, but really not much going on here even for the coast. So this is what we call an inside slider. And what that does is it kind of, the main area of low pressure is to our north and east, and then that kind of slides down to the south and to the north and east of us. A couple of things it does is sometimes it brings us some of the light showers that we're going to see today, but it also picks up those winds, which we'll get into that here in a bit. Now, as we take into the afternoon, now we're seeing mainly in the eastern mountains seeing some of this activity here. Snow levels, by the way, between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Look at the valley. I mean, yes, it's skirting parts of the valley. So again, we could see a slight chance for some showers here even for the valley, but it's not going to be a big deal. Look at the coast. Again, not much going on here. Now, by the time we get into Tuesday, look what happens. It's actually drying out. We have a dry trend for your Tuesday and most of Wednesday as well. But by Wednesday, I do expect to eventually see a chance for showers hitting the coast by midday, and eventually Wednesday night into Thursday, kind of spreading eastward. And this is that main event I was talking about. So let's talk about the overall setup, okay? So again, this is that colder air I was talking about that is approaching today as we speak. This is all the activity staying basically to our south. So what's going to happen with this colder air is, as we go into today and into tomorrow, it will shift off to the east. Okay, so the main pocket of colder air stays to our north, but we do start to see temperatures drop. Now, the temperatures will moderate a bit as a very weak root of high pressure kind of builds in before the next pocket of colder air moves in. Now, this is expected to be a colder shot of air, and this is what's going to potentially bring us those snow levels fairly low. So here we are at the noon hour on Thursday. Now, what we have here is this broad trough of low pressure right here, okay? So I want you to think about the main area of low pressure still to our north, but colder air essentially pulls down. As you head closer and closer to where we are, the colder air gets warmer and warmer, so it's not as cold. So you see how we see this transition from snow to rain, right? So you kind of have some of this warmer air kind of coming in with that flow, and that's where we're seeing kind of that moisture source as well. But by Thursday, yeah, look at this. I mean, one thing we can't forget, I'm talking about the colder air, but look at this. I mean, we've got the rain and we've got the snow that's moving on in, right? In the higher elevations in particular with that snow. Then we go for Thursday through the first part of the weekend, we're still seeing that colder air pushing eastward. Okay, so this is when we start to see the potential for snow levels dropping down to, on average, as low as 1,000 feet. Now keep in mind, Redding is at 500 feet. So we're getting really borderline close with some of that colder air moving in, and then that pushes off to the east, and then yes, we've got some more activity coming in early next week, but not quite as cold. Now to put things in a better perspective with that colder air, I want to just show you and kind of focus on the temperatures. So here we are Friday. This is the main area of low pressure right here. This is the cold core of coldest air, right? Then you can see this trough of low pressure right here. This right here is that colder air pooling down. That's Friday. Now let's take you into Saturday. That shifts to the east. Now we have kind of that pocket of cooler air right over Northern California and really even into Central California. But again, keep in mind, the coldest air is still up to our north as you'd expect. That then shifts to the east, and then pretty much all bets are off for that snow in the valley by the time we get into early next week. So yes, we've got that colder air moving in. It's trending colder, but we have certainly seen colder systems move into parts of the valley. But that all being said, look at this. You see the darker shades of blue? That's saying that we have a really good chance of seeing below normal temperatures, and that is expected to be the case here. And so it looks like we're going to be looking at a pretty cold start to your March. All right. Rainfall totals. Now, they look very impressive along the coast, but really overall, I don't anticipate to see a ton of rainfall for the valley. Now, this is what we call the American Forecast Model, known as the GFS. This one's actually being a little less aggressive with the amount of rainfall. We're looking at a little bit more coming out of the European Forecast Model on this one, probably over an inch for everyone in the valley, and even more off to the north and east as well. But bottom line, it looks like the bulk of the rain is going to be off to the west out along the coast. Now, another thing I mentioned is that inside slider producing the gusty winds today. Here's today at noon. Look at to the east. Yeah, we're seeing those gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. There's actually a wind advisory off to the north and to the east because of these gusty winds that we're going to see out there today. Now the winds may pick up a little bit here even for the valley, so we'll call it breezy, but then by the time we get into tomorrow, that inside slider is off to our east, temperatures are warming up slightly, and those winds should, for the most part, start to die down. Also want to mention that beach hazard statement we had pretty much throughout the weekend is still going to be in effect until 10 o'clock this morning. So, of course, that risk for sneak waves. So, again, that continues into the morning hours. Wave heights, as you can see here as we go into this afternoon, we're not going to see them really drop a whole lot. They'll drop a little bit going into Tuesday. And then as we take you on into your Wednesday, they may drop even a little bit more. All right, take a look at your marine forecast for today. We do have those winds from the northwest at 10 to 20 knots, waves from the north at 5 feet at about 6 seconds, and from the northwest at about 6 feet at 15 seconds. Of course, there is that small craft advisory. All right, so here's your neighborhood forecast for Trinity County. So let's kind of walk you through at least the 7-day forecast. So the chance for showers today, nothing heavy. Tuesday, Wednesday, we actually, bit of a break. It's dry. Temperatures a little bit warmer, as you can see, low to mid 50s. Then the main event comes in. Look at the snow levels. Thursday, 3,000. Probably in the form of rain on Thursday for Trinity County, at least for Weaverville and Hayfork. By Friday, we're getting that mix. By Saturday and Sunday, now we're seeing the potential for some snow there. So, especially as we go into the weekend, this is when we're talking about the potential for some major issues when it comes to travel. So if you're traveling anywhere in the mountains over the weekend, You're going to need to stay tuned to the forecast here very closely. There's a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures today should be in the low 50s for most of the coast, and not to mention the inland areas. Dry Tuesday, Wednesday, although by the time we do get into Wednesday afternoon, some of those showers may begin to kick in. Better chances for incoming in Thursday. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the mid to even some upper 40s, although cooler for places like Doris with a high of only about 40. Modoc County, Tule Lake 41, 41 for Alturas, 40 in Bidwell, Fort Bidwell that is, 39 for Cedarville, and Aden about 40 degrees. Let's take it southward, eastern mountains, out towards Chester about 46, 43 in Mineral, 50 in Shingletown, and 54 degrees in Paradise. We take into the valley where those temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 60s. So yes, temperatures not as warm as they were over the weekend, but still not that bad. Temperatures probably well into the 60s for many of us. There you can see 60 out towards Redding, 53 degrees for Whiskeytown, and 55 degrees out in Lakehead. So let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Again, that chance for showers today, don't anticipate much, right? It's going to be mainly dry. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, you've got dry conditions with temperatures pretty much staying in the low 60s, but much cooler by the time we get into your Thursday and Friday. Showers Thursday and Friday. Snow levels, I've got them down to 1,000 feet for Saturday, Sunday. Is it out of the question for a mix in Redding over the weekend? No, it's not. But at this point, am I expecting major accumulation or any accumulating snow in the valley? At this point, I'm going to say no. I need to keep watching those forecast models closely as we get closer to the weekend. Still way too early to really forecast and predict exactly what's going to happen with that potential for snow over the weekend. That's why, especially if you have travel plans, you're going to need to keep a close eye on the forecast. Bottom line, colder air is moving in, and it is going to impact that mountain travel, even as early as Thursday. But the biggest impacts are expected to be this weekend and even going into parts of early next week.